ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, welcome to the Bhakti Shastri class. Today is lesson 5, chapter number 18. श्री श्री राधा गोविंद की जय, श्री श्री गौर निताई की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Unit 3 Bhakti Shastri, lesson 5, that is Bhagavad Gita chapter 18 today. So overview of this 18th chapter is like this. 18th chapter is a summary of all the other chapters, whatever we have learned from the chapter number 3, because the chapter number 1 and 2 is like question and answer, and chapter number 3 onwards, Krishna is explaining about the karma yoga, and from there the beginning of spiritual life in detail Krishna is explaining how a person he can become a karma kandi, from karmi he can become a karma kandiya, and from karma kandiya one can come to nishkama karma yogi, and from nishkama karma yoga one can come to the bhakti yoga. So these things are explained. So this is a summary, and most of the points here are repeated. That means the three modes and the different nature of the person in three modes, all these things are explained. So first 12 shloka, that is from first to 12, we have karma yoga, and then 13 to 18 it speaks about jnana yoga. That is just like the beginning 6 chapters are speaking about karma, and next 6 chapters are speaking about the jnana. And 19 to 40 is talking about the three modes. So this is most of the points from the 17th chapter. And then 41 to 48 is prescribed duty, again karma yoga, and then jnana yoga. Through jnana one can come to the Brahma Bhuta state. So this is the first part of 18th chapter. This is the longest chapter in Bhagavad Gita, which has 78 shloka, and it can be divided into two parts, 1 to 54 one part, and remaining 55 to 78 another part. 55 to 60 is talking about Bhakti Yoga and Buddhi Yoga. So Buddhi Yoga specifically, it comes in the chapter earlier in the second chapter. Buddhi Yoga is not a specifically a yoga, it is your intelligence is used for performing yoga, then it's called as Buddhi Yoga. Then 61 to 63 is coming surrendering to the super soul. Then finally, the important shloka of Bhagavad Gita, Sarvadharman Parityajya, that comes in 66. That is how to surrender to Krishna, close completely. Okay, sorry for the interruption. Then after that, after 66, shloka number 66, Krishna is not giving any instruction to Arjuna. It is about the Bhagavad Gita. That means to whom you can preach this Krishna consciousness, to whom you can tell, whom you should not tell, all these things. Then finally, Arjuna is giving his opinion about whatever he heard, that is feedback. Then finally, Sanjaya gives his feedback. So the last two sessions are feedback sessions by the hearer, that is Arjuna and Sanjaya. So in this way, we have the 18th chapter, the longest chapter in this Bhagavad Gita. This chapter begins with Arjuna, Arjuna's words. You can all open the book. So Arjuna is asking Krishna one question. With that, this chapter will begin. That is freedom from the bondage through Karma Yoga. Arjuna wanted to know what is the difference between sannyasa and tyaga. It both looks very similar, tyaga and sannyasa. Okay, I have not made you the co-host. Sorry. You all can give the attendance here. Arjuna uvacha sannyasasya mahabaho tattvamiccami veditum tyagasya cha hrishikesha pritakkeshini shudana. Arjuna said, O mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation, tyaga, and of the renounced order of life, sannyasa, O killer of the Keshi, demon, master of the senses. Here the shloka says, Keshi nishudana, sannyasasya mahabaho tattvamiccami vedusum. Tyagasya cha hrishikesha pratak keshi nishudana. Hrishikesha and keshi nishudana are the two words that are used in this shloka for addressing Lord Krishna. So here Krishna is the Hrishikesha, or he is the master of the senses, and also he is Keshi Nishudana. He is the killer of the demon Keshi. Now Arjuna is having some doubt in his mind. So this doubt is like a demon, which can confuse you, which can distract you. So only Krishna can solve this problem. So Arjuna is telling him, O Hrishikesha, O Keshi Nishudana, please clarify my doubts. Now Krishna is going to explain what is the difference between sannyasa and tyaga. Krishna first directly doesn't give the answer for the question. First, he will give the opinion of different people, and then he will tell his opinion. So what Krishna says here, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kamyanam Karmanam Nyasam Sannyasa Kavayo Viduhu Sarva Karma Phalatyagam Prahutyagam Vichakshana. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the giving up of all activities that are based on material desire is what great learned men call the renounced order of life, that is sannyasa. And giving up the results of all activities is what the wise call renunciation or tyaga. So here the question arises, should I give up everything, all the activities, or should I only give up the result of the activity? Now, based on the knowledge that we have got from the third chapter, it is understood that nobody can perform naishkarmya or completely giving up all the activities. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrit karyate hevasha karma sarve prakriti jai gune. As a person is influenced by the three modes of material nature, he cannot live for a second also without doing any activity. And if you don't do the activity, Sharira yatra pichate na prasiddhyeda karmanaha. You cannot maintain your body. So then what is to be given? What is actually sannyasa? That means you should give up the result of your activity, not the activity itself. Example is given if you are at home, if mother is cooking the food. Now she is going to fast on that particular day. She has she's taking some vrata, and she has that choice. She can give up that food, but she can't say that nobody at home can eat because I'm fasting. Everyone should eat, fast. That is not possible, because those who are not fasting, they should be served with the food or in prasadam. Similarly, Arjuna, he wants to renounce, but being a kshatriya, it is his duty to fight. Now he can give up the result. That means after winning the war, he may or may not take up the throne. He can suggest another right person for that throne. But he cannot give up the job, or he cannot give up the work which he has taken to destroy the miscreants. That he cannot stop. Just by saying that I am not interested in this war, I don't want the result of this war, so I will not fight this war. That is not allowed. If this is only the question of Arjuna's life, then it's fine. But if Arjuna doesn't fight, then there are so many people who get into trouble. Duryodhana will continue to become a king, and he will rule the world, and everywhere injustice will be there. We know how Duryodhana has behaved with Pandavas, with Draupadi, and so many other people. So these all points has to be taken into consideration. So here, one should give up things means you can only give up the result of your activity, but not the activity in itself. That is what Krishna is telling since from the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Mam anusmara yudhyacha. You fight, but at the same time you remember me. In Bhagavad Gita, Duryodhana and Arjuna, they are two extremes. Duryodhana wants to win the war at any cost. He is ready to do anything for that. And Arjuna, he is not at all interested in the war. He just wants to go away. But who is correct? Is it Arjuna is correct or Duryodhana is correct? Both are wrong. Because Arjuna is wrong because he is running away from his duty. Duryodhana is wrong because he is performing the activity for his sense gratification. But what is correct then? One should understand the purpose of the war and what is right, what is not. One should understand, and then they have to act on it. That is what Krishna taught Arjuna. Arjuna, you should fight for the right cause. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Whenever there is a problem in the dharma, then Krishna will come and correct it. And Arjuna is only becoming an instrument in his hand. So Krishna gave the right path for Arjuna. But he could not convince Duryodhana because he was not submissive. He tried to convince Duryodhana in the very beginning. Before the war, he went to Duryodhana and told him, you can only give some 5 villages so that Pandavas can be peacefully. But he told, I can't give a place which can hold the tip of a needle. Then the war was inevitable. Now, this is not the right time for deciding whether to fight or not, because all discussions are over. Conclusion is done. Now only fighting is remaining. So this is not the right path, right time to decide whether to fight or not. Now Krishna is continuing his words. What he says: some learned men declare that all kinds of fruitive activities should be given up as faulty. Yet other sages maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance should never be abandoned. Yajna, dana, tapa. These are the three. Pavanani manishinaha. Yajna, dana, tapa. These three things are needed for everyone. It will purify each and every person. Manishina, it comes in the next shloka. Pavanani manishina. Manishi means one who is very intelligent or one who is very elevated in spiritual life. For such people also, this the yajna, dana, tapa is very important because it is directly connected to the three difficulties, these three problems of material world. That is Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, Adidaivika. Adhyatmika, Adidaivika, Adibhautika. These three problems can be overcome by yajna, dana, and tapa. How it is possible? Yajna is meant for satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yajna Purusha. And when the Supreme Lord is satisfied, all other demigods are also satisfied. That's how we can overcome the Adi Daivika Klesha. That is the problems given by the demigods. And Dana is given for other living entities. So we can come out of the problem of Adi Bhautika Klesha. And Adhyatmika Klesha is related to the mind. And Tapa or the austerity is for the mind. When one who is performing austerity, his mind becomes peaceful. So like this, these three activities, Yajna, Dana, Tapa, it can purify even the intelligent, great people. So these three things should not be given up at any time, at any cost. So it has to be performed. Activity has to be performed at any cost without attachment or any expectation of the result. So that is the Karma Yoga portion that Krishna has explained in the previous shloka. So this goes on up to the text number 12. So one should not renounce his work because it has some problem in it. One should perform the activity as a matter of duty. So as a conclusion, for one who is not renounced, the threefold fruits of action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, occur after death, but those who are in the renounced order of life have no such result to suffer or enjoy. So when one who is renouncing the result of his activity, he don't have to suffer the problems of that activity. So he will be freed from that. So that's why one should renounce the fruits of its activity. But if the activity itself is renounced, then everyone will be in problem. So this is about the Karma Yoga. Now coming to the Jnana Yoga or knowledge, this starts with the explanation of 5 factors of activity. So what are the 5 things that are needed for performing any activity? You can go to the text number 13. It is explained there. Panchaitani Mahabaho Karanani Nibodame Sankhe Kritante Proktani Siddhaye Sarva Karmana. So what are the 5? Adhishtanam Tatha Karta Karanam Cha Pratak Vidham Vividascha Pratak Cheshta Daivam Chaivatra Panchamam. These are the 5 causes which are needed for doing or performing any activity. That is Adhishtanam, that is the place of activity or our own body. And second one, Karta, that is the person, that is the soul. Or if you are keeping a shop, you need a place for keeping the shop, and the person, you should be there in the shop. Third one is Karanam, senses. You should use all your senses for doing various activities. Or when you're keeping a shop, then you need to have all the equipments or the whatever facilities that are needed, the lighting or everything is needed. That is Karanam. Then Cheshta. Even if you have everything, if you are not endeavoring or if you are not putting your effort for achieving something, then it's all waste. You have the shop, you have the person there, and he has all the senses, but he is not putting any effort for making profit, then it's of no use. So effort is also needed, that is chesta. Then finally, ultimately, we need the super soul. If the super soul is absent, then nothing will happen. So all 5 factors are important. And the most important is the super soul, but he is not visible. Generally, people concentrate only on these 3 things. When you want to build a house, first you buy the land, that is adhishtanam. Then you find the labors, that is the karta, the doers. And you buy the materials, that is karanam or senses. And chesta, you put all the efforts to get the money and make everything possible. You supervise the things. But the 5th one, if the Paramatma in the heart, he doesn't sanction it, then it will not happen. But generally we forget it. We don't consider. So these things are explained in the text number 13 to 15. And then the doership and non-doership mentality, it is explained here. Therefore, one who thinks himself only the doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent, and he cannot see the things as they are. Actually, who is the doer? It is the super soul who is giving the permission. And if I think only I am the doer, then I am doing wrong. When a farmer is working, he has to pay the tax to the king. He cannot question, I have done so much hard work, why should I give the fruit of my work? No, you are under the protection of the king. If the king is not there, then thieves will come and loot your place. Or you are protected by the king and you are surrendered to the king. So you have to pay the tax. And that tax money will be used for your own benefit or for maintaining the military, army, everything. So you have to pay for it. Because we have taken the sunlight, air, water, all these things from the Lord, it is our duty to say thanks to him, or it is our duty to worship him. So that is the doership. And one who is not motivated by false ego, whose intelligence is not entangled, though he kills men in this world, does not kill, nor is bound by his action. So here, if a person is not having any attachment to the result of his activity, then whatever he does, he has no reaction. The best example Srila Prabhupada gives of the soldier who kills the opposite army. He is doing the greatest offense in other ways. Killing someone is very offensive, or it is a criminal act. But that same activity, when it is done in the war, it will be considered as glorious. If somebody kills the other enemy party, as many more people you kill, that much more glorious your name will be. So that is how it will be. So when we are acting in this material world, if you are not attached to the result of your activity, then you will not get any reaction. So that is about the jnana part of this. Then comes the 3 modes, that is from the text number 18 to 40. There are different things that are explained in connection to the 3 modes. So first of all, Krishna explains in the text number 18 about the 3 motivators and the 3 constituents of the action. So what are they? Jnanam, Jneyam, Parijnata, Trividha, Karma, Chodana. Chodana means the impetus for doing the activity. What are they? Jnanam, that is knowledge, Jneyam, the objective of knowledge, and Parijnata, the knower. So you need the knowledge, and that knowledge should have an objective, that is objective of the knowledge, and then yourself, that is the knower. If these 3 things are there, then it will become an impetus for performing any activity. Then karanam karma karteti trividha karma sangraha, that is accumulation of the karma or activity. It is done through the karanam, that is through the senses, karma, through the work, and the karta, that is the doer. So knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower are the three factors that motivate the action, and the senses, work, and the doer are the three constituents of action. That means constituent means these are the three things needed for the activity, and other three will motivate the activity. If you say both places, one thing is common, that is the person, karta. In one place it is called karta, other one is called parijnata, or the knower. That is you yourself. You should be a parijnata, and also you are the karta, that is doer. You are the doer and you are the knower. So by these three things, or by these six things, the activity will be performed. Otherwise, activity cannot be performed. Then from next one, it is talking about the knowledge in three modes. So these three modes are introduced from text number 19. So what kind of knowledge is sattvic? What kind of knowledge is rajasic and tamasic? These things are coming under text number 20 to 22. 20, 21, 22. So each three shloka will be explaining different concepts in relation to three modes here that we can understand. So that knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all living entities, though they are divided into innumerable forms, you should understand to be in the mode of goodness. So here, knowledge means one should see through the eyes of a knowledgeable person, or it is called Shastra Chakshu. We should see this world through the Shastra. If we are seeing through our mundane eyes, then our conclusion will not be proper. That is called Pratyaksha Jnana. Jyotilakshmi Mataji, am I audible? There are some people saying there is problem. Suresh Krishna.
Audible, Prabhuji. Audible. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So that knowledge by which one can see the things undivided, this spiritual nature, even though it looks like a divided, that is called goodness. That is mode of goodness. The seeing the things, seeing this world through the knowledge of the Shastra is in the mode of goodness. But that knowledge by which one sees that every different body, there is a different type of living entity, you should understand to be in the mode of passion. So he is seeing externally. It is like we are seeing different living entities. An animal like dog, cat, or birds, animals, they are there. We were considering them as separate living entities. That is, there is no concept of soul. Then that kind of knowledge is considered as passion, in the mode of passion. But what is the knowledge in darkness? One is attached to one kind of work as all in all, without knowledge of the truth, and which is very meager. Then it is called as the more knowledge in the mode of darkness. One kind of work itself is all in all. Then from 23rd to 25th, it is talking about the activity in the mode of sattva, rajas, and tamas. Action which is regulated and which is performed without attachment, without love or hatred, and without desire for fruitive results is in the mode of goodness, that we learnt in the text chapter number 3. Then in the passion, in the goodness, we don't have the attachment for the result. In the passion, there is strong attachment for the result. Then it comes under the category of passion, performed with great effort. It's called ugra karma, and one seeking to gratify his desires. So results are taken by the doer himself, that is the person himself, and enacted from a sense of false ego. Then it's called as passion. And what is ignorance? Performed in illusion, disregard of scriptural injunctions, not at all considering the Shastra, without concern for fruitive future bondage, and violence, distress caused all these things comes under the category of ignorance, the activity or work performed under ignorance. Then there are three types of people or the doer who are in the three modes. So how a person should perform the activity? Duty without association with the modes of material nature, without false ego, with great determination and enthusiasm, without wavering in success and failure. It's said to be in the worker in the mode of goodness. A worker or a doer who is not attached to the result, but he is performing the activity as a matter of duty, karmanyeva adhikaraste, then it is in the mode of goodness. But one who is attached to the work and fruits of the work and desiring to enjoy those fruits, who is greedy, always envious, impure, moved by joy and sorrow, then it is in the mode of passion. Then the last one, the worker in the mode of ignorance, he is engaged in the work which is against the injunctions of scripture, and he is very materialistic, obstinate, cheating, expert in insulting others, lazy, morose, procrastinating. All these things are coming under the mode of ignorance. Next, Krishna explains about the intelligence, that is Buddhi, in the three modes, how the intelligence of the people are present in three modes. So it comes in that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, is in the mode of goodness. So there are certain things which we should fear and certain things we should not fear. If you are knowing it rightly, then your knowledge or buddhi is in the mode of goodness. Here, what is to be feared? If a person should fear for doing any impious activities, stealing, killing, or violence, all these things one should not perform. So having fear towards all these things, it's good, so that the person will not go wrong. But one who is not having any fear for these things, then it can bring all criminal activities from him, or he will get bound. And not fearing for performing good activity, the devotional service for the Lord, or helping or doing some good activity which will help someone to advance in their spiritual life, then that is in the mode of goodness. Then in the mode of passion, that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, he doesn't know what is right and what is wrong, then that is in the mode of passion. What action should be done, what should not be done, these things are not very clear, then that intelligence is coming under the mode of passion. And ignorance is exactly opposite of mode of goodness. In mode of goodness, he knows what is right, what is wrong exactly. But in the next one, in the ignorance, he's thinking religion to be irreligion and irreligion to be religion. Then that kind of knowledge is under the spell of illusion and darkness and strives always in the wrong direction. Then it is in the mode of ignorance. So what is to be done, what is not to be done? In the Kali Yuga, we can see this many places where people encourage the irreligious activities, but if somebody does some religious activity, then it will be stopped. No, you can't do this because you don't have permission. But if you are doing any bad activity, then nobody is objecting. So such kind of knowledge is coming under the ignorance. So we don't know what is actually right for us, what is good for us, but we will only think about immediate happiness or immediate gain. Then it comes under the category of ignorance. Then also dhriti, that is the determination in three modes that is given here, which is unbreakable, sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice and controls the activities of the mind, life, and senses, then such kind of determination is in the mode of goodness. But that determination which holds fast the falls to fruitive results in religion, economic development, and sense gratification, then it comes under the mode of passion. And the ignorance is the determination which cannot go beyond the dreaming, fearfulness, or lamentation, moroseness, illusion. Such kind of determination is coming under the darkness. You cannot call it as determination at all. That is the three types of determination. Then happiness in three modes. There are the happiness in the mode of goodness, that is by which the conditioned soul enjoys, and by which he sometimes comes to the end of all the distress. There is no distress, then it is called the happiness in the mode of goodness. Happiness in the mode of passion is, it looks like a nectar in the beginning, but at the end it will be poisonous. Then it is, okay. First of all, goodness is exactly reverse. When in the beginning it looks like a poison, but at the end it will be nectar. Then it is in the mode of goodness. And when it is opposite, then it is passion or ignorance. So example, you can take the waking up early in the morning, or chanting 16 rounds, or following 4 regulatory principles. In the beginning, it may look very difficult, but if you perform it, then you will get a lot of good results. That is in activity in the mode of goodness, that is sukham, happiness, real happiness. But in the mode of passion, derived from contact of the senses with their objects, which appears like a nectar in the beginning and poison at the end, then it is in the mode of passion. And in the ignorance, which is blind, which makes one to blind to the self-realization, and delusion from beginning to end, which arises from sleep, laziness, illusion. This is coming under the mode of ignorance. Having said all these things, Krishna will continue to the explanation of the varna, or social orders, and their qualities from the text number 40. That is how one can get purified through the prescribed duties of varnashrama. So this is one of the way one can elevate himself in this material world, by following the varna and ashrama, brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, shudra, brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyasa. By following this varna and ashrama, one can gradually elevate himself to the spiritual platform. That is natadasti prithivyam va divi deveshu yo va punaha sattvam prakriti jairmukham muktam yad ebhi syat tribhir gunaihi. There is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems which is freed from these three modes born of material nature. So first of all, Krishna is telling that after explaining all these jnana, karma, karta, buddhi, dhriti, sukha, all these things in relation to the three modes of material nature, he is concluding that nobody is free from these three modes. All are having the, probably can close it fully close. So these three modes are there in each and every living entity. Now, what is a solution? As a solution, in the beginning, Krishna explained about the varnashrama system. Because this varna and ashrama, it is based on the three modes of material nature. A person who is in the sattva guna, as you can evaluate yourself by checking all these qualities. When Krishna is explaining what is jnana, karta, karma, all this, you can check whether you are in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance. Based on that, you can decide your varna and ashrama, or especially the varna, brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, shudra. These varnas are not varna and ashrama, or especially varna. It is not based on your birth. It is based on the guna and karma. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam. 4 kind of varna is created by Krishna based on guna and karma, not based on the janma. And now if we are very clear about the mode in which I am situated, you can take either Brahmana or Kshatriya or Vaishya or Shudra, to which you belong. You can identify yourself. Now, after identifying, you should work accordingly. If you say that I am in Sattva-guna, I am doing all the activities in Sattva-guna, then yes, of course, you can perform the activities of a Brahmana. Or no, I am little passionate. I have this passion tendency. Okay, you can take up the job of a Kshatriya. Kshatriya job doesn't mean you have to go to the battlefield. There are so many activities where management is involved, or controlling the other people are involved. They are coming under the category of Kshatriyas. Brahmana means teaching, learning, patan, yajan, yajan, dana, pratigrahan. All these coming under Brahmana quality, or Shama, Dama, Tapa, Shaucha. These are things. Kshatriya, the control or to rule. All these things are coming under this Kshatriyas. And Vaishya means dealing with the money, making the business, and maintaining the people. You are responsible for other three. The Vaishyas will give tax to the Kshatriyas, and Kshatriyas will give donation to the Brahmanas, and Brahmanas give knowledge to the Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas rule over the Vaishyas, and Shudras will serve all the three people, and they will be maintained. So this is how it will all work. So now you can choose what varna you would like to take, and based on that, one has to decide his activities. So Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya and Shudras are distinguished by the qualities born of their own natures in accordance with the material modes. O chastiser of enemy. So whatever material modes they have, based on that, they have a certain kind of activity. Now, what are the different activities? Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity. This is the shloka. Shama, Dama, Tapa, Shaucham, Shanti, Marjava, Mevacha. Jnanam, Vijnanam, Astikyam, Brahma, Karma, Svabhavacham. This is the quality of a Brahmana. Now, in the previous all evaluation, if you had got, if you have come to the conclusion that I am under the mode of goodness in all these things, then you can check, do you have these qualities? If yes, then definitely you can take to the activity of a Brahmana. Why we are doing all this analysis is we should do the work which is suiting our mode or mood. If it is not so, then it is very difficult to perform the activity. Just like a person who is very much interested in money, and if you put him in the work of a Brahmana, then he will be very uncomfortable. Or if you put a Brahmana in place of a Vaishya, then he also feels very uncomfortable. So we should understand what is proper for me, then I should accept that. Then coming to the Kshatriya, Shauryam Tejo Dhriti Daksham Yuddhe cha Apalayanam Danam Ishvara Bhavascha Kshatram Karma Swabhavajam. These are the qualities of a Kshatriya: heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership are the natural qualities of the work of Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas gives the protection. Kshatam trayate iti Kshatriyaha. Then Vaishya. Vaishya's business is Krishi, Goraksha, Vanijya. So all the three are the work of a Vaishya. So what he does Krishi. Krishi means the cultivation of grains, and Goraksha. Both are supporting each other. You cannot have Krishi without Goraksha. Without cows, we cannot have cultivation. Without cultivation, we cannot maintain the cows. So they both support each other. And whatever the byproducts that are coming, it is, you can use it for yourself, and whatever remains, you can give it to others as a trade. So that is how one should make the life of a Vaishya. And also it is said that you should grow what you eat and you eat what you grow. That means we are sometimes why the cultivation, this krishi will fail because we are growing something which we don't eat and we take it to the market and it has to be sold, and with that money we will buy what you need to eat. Then it all becomes more complex. If you are growing the things which you need, then you don't have to depend on anybody else. You're only directly depending on your land. Then you should grow what you eat and eat what you grow. So whatever you have grown, you should accept it. Don't expect too many things. Don't make your life very complex. So that is the Vaishya. And Shudra Paricharyatmakam karma. So Shudraschapi Swabhavajam. So Shudra means he's serving all the other three category of people. It is his duty. We should not think that Shudra means something low. All the four Varnas are important. None of them we cannot neglect. We cannot neglect any of them. We can't say we need only Brahmanas or we need only Kshatriyas or only Vaishyas. That is not possible. Without Shudras, nothing will work because their service is needed everywhere. So these are the three Varnas that are explained. And it is next Krishna is telling one should stick to the duty. So based on this previous analysis, whatever you have understood to which Varna you belong to, based on that, now Krishna is telling. Sve sve karmani abhirataha sansiddhim labate naraha. Swakarma nirata siddhim yatha vindati tachrunu. Arjuna, sve sve, by following his qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Now please hear from me how this can be done. Now to achieve the perfection, a Shudra need not become a Brahmana or a Vaishya need not become a Kshatriya. That is not elevation. If a Shudra starts behaving like or starts imitating a Brahmana, then it will create a problem. A Shudra can achieve success or he can come to the perfection only by doing his prescribed duty. Don't imitate, thinking that Brahmana is great, so I will imitate Brahmana. No, that is not the requirement here. That's what Krishna is telling. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. One should perform one's own work. One should not perform the activity of other Varnas. Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushtitat. Swabhava niyatam karma kurvannapnoti kilbisham. It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reaction. A Shudra has so many concession. But a Brahmana, he will be punished if he does the same mistake. Just like intoxication, to some extent it is allowed for Kshatriyas and Vaishya or Shudras, but Brahmana is not allowed. So if you are imitating a Brahmana and at the same time you want intoxication, then you will be punished. But if you accept yourself, I am a Shudra and I am doing the activities of a Shudra, then there is no sin. Yasya yallakshanam proktam pumso varnabhivanjakam yadanyatrapi drishyeta tat tenaiva vinirdishet. When a person performs any activity, based on that quality of his activity, we should decide what is his varna, not based on the birth of that person. So in this way, Krishna is stressing here, every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault. continue your duty. This is directly telling Arjuna. Krishna is telling to Arjuna, Arjuna, you may be telling that you are killing people. That is, Kshatriya has to kill someone, or Brahmana has to perform some yajna in which his master or Yajamana is having some fruitive desire. Or a Vaishya, he may be doing some business which may not be moral. Or Shudra, he may sometimes has to serve a master who is very cruel, or he is not, he doesn't follow the moral codes. But still you continue, no problem. Because you need the fire, but along with you get some smoke. But that smoke is not your requirement, but it is coming as a part of it. It doesn't mean that you should reject the fire itself. You should continue it. You perform it. So just like the fire covered by the smoke, every activity, none of this activity, everything is material. In this material world, the duality is always there. Where there is good, there is bad also. So we should accept the good part and continue our activity. One should not give up the work born of his own nature, O son of Kunti. You should perform your activity. Now he is coming to the first point, that is sannyasa. So how to come to the perfection in sannyasa? This is again speaking about the renouncing the result of the activity. One who is self-controlled and unattached and who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain by practice of renunciation the highest perfection stage of freedom from reaction. Don't get attached to the enjoyments of the results of your activity. And practice the renunciation, then you can come to the stage of perfection. So whenever we are performing activity, if we are attached to the activity, then we have to take birth again. If you are not attached to the result of your activity, then the person will get liberated. So in this way, Krishna is explaining here, O son of Kunti, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain to the supreme perfectional stage Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize. So Krishna is first starting, there are three realizations, Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti. So Krishna is first, he starts with the Brahman realization, then he will go for Paramatma realization, then finally he says Bhagavan realization, and in that also the final conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, that is Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. So with that he will conclude this chapter. So what is the Brahman realization? How to attain the Brahman? That is here explained. Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind, with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, being freed from attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind, and power of speech, who is always in trance and who is detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship, and peaceful, such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. You can see in the shloka, it is told, Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. This is the path for Brahman realization. So these qualities you can read in the purport, as Prabhupada is explaining through the text number 2.7. Apuryamana machala pratishtam samudramapa pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sa shanti mapnoti na kama kami. It's a wonderful example where the ocean, it is accepting the water from so many rivers, but at the same time, it is maintaining its limit. It will not cross the limit. Just like in Mangalore, we have the ocean in Panambur. It is still there. Even if you say 10 or 20, 30 years back also, it was there only. It has not crossed the limit. Similarly, this ocean, since it is very vast, it's has a large area, so it can take up the river water at any quantity. It will not cross its limit. Similarly, a person who has come to the Brahman realization, he will be able to manage this. This kind of qualities are visible in that person. That is whatever we have read it now. I'm not going to repeat once again. Next, coming to the Brahma Bhuta stage to Bhakti, how one can achieve. So, because Brahman realization is not the final. He has to elevate himself to the Bhagavan realization. Brahman realization is just understanding the sunlight. It's very beginning. But we should understand the sun God. That is explained here. One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. So, being in the Brahman platform, if a person begins to perform the devotional service to the Lord, or if he is so it is told here, he never laments or desires, he is equally disposed towards every living entity, then he will come to the devotional service or the state of bhakti. It will be obtained for that person. And now Krishna is stressing the importance of coming to bhakti. You cannot say that, okay, I will be in Brahman itself because anyhow it is very nice, I am very happy there. No. In Brahman platform, a person can fall down. But you have to elevate further, because if you have to understand Krishna, and by understanding Krishna, one can go to Goloka. So that's why Krishna is stressing here in the text number 55. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha tato mam tattvato jnatva vishate tadanantaram. So in this way, by coming to Brahman platform and then elevating oneself to devotional service, one can become bhakta, devotee, and through becoming devotee, one can understand who is Krishna. So one can understand me as I am, as a Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service, not by just coming to Brahman platform. And when one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. That is the way how one can go back to Godhead. That is the path, that is the goal of our life. Now, having said this, Krishna will explain about this devotional service, that is performance of devotion in the platform of pure bhakti. That is explained in the next shlokas. That is next 11 shlokas are dedicated for this. So the four shlokas are explains in this way. Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee under my protection reaches the eternal and imperishable abode of my grace. When a person comes to the devotional service, he is coming under the direct care of Krishna. Until then, he is in the hands of material nature. And your good and bad will be decided by the karma that you have performed. But when you come to devotional service, then whatever karma you might have performed, it will not have influence on you, because Krishna is personally taking care of you. Ananyas chintayanto mam yajana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. One who is constantly remembering me, his all needs will be fulfilled by the Lord himself. Yoga and Kshema, the Lord will give him whatever he needs and he will protect whatever he has. So under his control, under his protection, the person can go back to Godhead. In all activities, just depend upon me. This is the order. And work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. So what Arjuna should do here? He should be depending on Krishna. Of course, if you see the Mahabharata war, Arjuna was just an instrument. There were so many weapons that could kill Arjuna. But in each and every attempt, Krishna saved him. There are so many incidents we can see. So the actual war was fought by Lord Krishna himself. Arjuna was just an instrument. And even after the Mahabharata war, some coward boys, they could defeat Arjuna, even though he had Gandiva in his hand. So that was the situation. When there was no Krishna, Arjuna could not win the war, or he lost for coward boys. So in this way, we can understand the importance of remembering Krishna at all our activities. Now, Krishna consciousness, the importance of Krishna consciousness is explained in this shloka. Just remember Krishna, then what are the benefits that we get? Macchitta sarva durgani mat prasadat tarishyasi atachetvam ahankaran nashroshyasi vinangshyasi. If you become conscious of me, this is Krishna is telling to Arjuna, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. So there is no option. Being Krishna conscious is not optional. It is need. It is needed for everyone. Everyone should become Krishna conscious to save oneself. If you do not act according to my direction and do not fight, then you will be falsely directed. By your nature, you will have to be engaged in warfare. This is another answer for Arjuna's reason, what Arjuna told. Oh, Krishna, I will live by begging. No problem. I don't want this war. No, if you don't fight this war, you will fight another war. Because there will be a number of reasons for you to fight. So better you fight here itself. Don't take the blame. Because your nature is like that. You are a Kshatriya. You cannot change it. You cannot behave like a Brahmana. You must fight. You have to fight. Under illusion, you are now declining to act according to my direction. But compelled by the work born of your own nature, you will act all the same, O son of Kunti. Krishna himself is telling. Every person, we all are bound by the modes that we are cultivating. So we should be very careful what kind of mode we are cultivating, because these modes will decide our activities. It will decide our destination. So it is very important to develop Sattva Guna, or mode of goodness. Because once we are under the mode of goodness, we are on the safer side and we can easily take to Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, it is very difficult to elevate oneself from the mode of passion or in ignorance. Now the surrendering process is explained, because Bhakti is all about surrendering process, and this is the Guhyatara Jnana, or more confidential knowledge, 61 to 63. Ishvara sarvabhutanam hriddeshe arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarvabhutani yantra rudhani mayaya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of material energy. O son of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. By his grace, you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme and eternal abode. So this is Paramatma realization. Earlier we saw the Brahman realization. Now this is the Paramatma realization. The previous sloka it's told, who are seated as on a machine. So that is Paramatma. This body is the machine, and Jiva and Paramatma, both are sitting in the heart region. Now Krishna is telling, surrender unto him. That is Paramatma realization. By his will, that means this Paramatma is also called Chaitya Guru. He is constantly giving us direction, what is to be done, what is not to be done. So this is, if we are surrendering to the Paramatma, then we will be able to cross over the material modes. Now this is the conclusion. Thus I have explained to you knowledge still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully and then do what you wish to do. Yatha ichchasi tatha kuru. This is the beauty of good teacher. A good teacher doesn't force the student to do anything. He will just give the direction and ask the student to decide what is to be done. Now, what Arjuna says, okay, before that, Krishna gives him the final instruction. Sarvaguhyatamam bhuyaha shrunume paramam vachaha ishtosi me dridam iti tato vakshyami me te hitam. So this is another shloka Krishna is repeating from 9th chapter. That is the 4 processes. Manmana bhavamadbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosime. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Earlier he told you are not envious of me. That's why I am giving you this knowledge. So another, here it is told, he is the dearmost friend to Krishna. So that's how he is giving this knowledge. So this is the process, how one should surrender to Krishna or how one should perform his devotional service. So with this, Krishna is giving the most confidential knowledge. The 64, 65, 66 are the most confidential knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. The Supreme Personality of Godhead himself is telling, do not fear. So there is no cause for fear. Krishna has got the best teacher to take the proper decision at the right moment. And the same teacher is available always for us through the Guru and Shastra, Guru Sadhu Shastra. We should take the advantage of it and we should make our life successful. Now, after this, from 67 to 78, it is the concluding words where we hear about the glory of studying and teaching Bhagavad Gita, and then realization of Arjuna and realization of Sanjaya that we can see here. So, what are the glories of studying and reading Bhagavad Gita or teaching Bhagavad Gita? This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, not to one who is envious of me. So we should not explain the very important or confidential part of Bhagavad Gita to each and every person. If at all you want to say something, you can just tell about the beginning of Bhagavad Gita and what are the result of reading Bhagavad Gita. Those things we can definitely explain them, but not the very confidential knowledge that Krishna has given, because the person may not be able to appreciate it. Then, now Krishna is giving some Shruti Phala. For those who explains the supreme secret to devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed. And the end, he will be coming back to Godhead. So this is, everyone can take this advantage. We should read Bhagavad Gita, study Bhagavad Gita, and teach Bhagavad Gita to others so that we can gain the devotion to Lord Krishna and we can go back to Godhead. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than, nor will there ever be one more dear. So one who is explaining or when he are hearing this Bhagavad Gita, who is regularly discussing about Bhagavad Gita, he is the most dear person in the entire world, that Krishna is giving the assurance. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worship me by his intelligence. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. So these are the easy way to elevate oneself in Krishna consciousness. We should just sit and read. Prabhupada has given such a wonderful purport. We have a lot of time. Definitely we have time. If you analyze, there is a lot of time in our day we simply waste for either for TV or for WhatsApp or Facebook, internet, all these things. Just analyze yourself, extract at least 2 hours in a day and just sit and read. It will help a lot. A person who has read any portion of Bhagavad Gita, he don't have to see the face of Yamadutas. He will be directly elevated to the spiritual kingdom. That is the glory of Bhagavad Gita. It's said in Gita Mahatmya. Now, realization of Arjuna. Okay. O son of Pritha, O conqueror of wealth, have you heard this in an attentive mind, and are your ignorance and illusions are now dispelled? This is Krishna's question. Now Arjuna is answering. Nashtamoha smritir labdhva tvatprasadam mayachyuta stitosmi gata sandeha karishye vachanam tava. Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, and I am prepared to act according to your instructions. So Krishna is Arjuna is telling, all my doubts are clear, so I am ready to fight. I will do whatever you say. So Krishna told, Yatha ichchasi tata kuru. Arjuna told, Karishye vachanam tava. So that is the question. This is the answer. Next, Sanjay gives his feedback. Thus, I have heard the conversation of two great souls, Krishna and Arjuna. And so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end. By the mercy of Vyasa, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all the mysticism, Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna. O king, as I repeatedly recall these wonders and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure being thrilled at every moment. Hrishyami cha muhurmuhu. O king, as I remember the wonderful form of the Lord Krishna, I am struck with wonder more and more, and I rejoice again and again. Hrishyami cha punaha punaha. So muhur, punaha punaha. Sanjay is repeating the words. Finally, the final shloka of Bhagavad Gita. Yatra yogeshwara Krishna, yatra partho dhanurdharaha, tatra Shri Vijayo bhutir, dhruva nitir matir mama. Now Sanjay has predicted the result of the war in the beginning itself. Wherever there is Krishna, wherever the master of all mysticism, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. Now, Sanjay is telling, where there is Krishna, there is victory. That means Pandavas are going to win this war. Sanjay has already predicted to Dhritarashtra. So with this, we have come to the conclusion of today's session, that is 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and this is the end of third module as well. If you have any questions regarding today's session, you can raise your hand and ask the question. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Anybody has any question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
I have a doubt regarding the three modes of material nature.
Yeah.
And even we experience that three modes oftenly. Like simultaneously, there is a shifting, or sometimes we feel a strong goodness and strong passion. So, how to recognize ourselves in particular mode?
The nature is explained, Mataji. Based on that nature, we can understand. If whenever you are doing any activity, you can observe yourself. If you are doing the activity without expectation of result, then you are in the mode of goodness. Or simple, you can check is your mind peaceful when you are performing any activity. If somebody disturbs you, in between your activity? Are you suddenly getting angry at them? Or are you able to manage? Are you able to take a pause from your present work and listen to the other person? Then you are in goodness. Or you immediately get irritated. Then you are in the mode of passion. Or ignorance means there is no activity, or the activity is completely in darkness. So you can observe yourself and how to shift to this other mode, to the goodness. That is by following the instructions of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. We should make our lifestyle in such a way that the mode of goodness is predominating. It is like we have 3 dogs, and whichever dog you feed, that will become strong. If you are, we have 5 senses. If you are taking input in the mode of goodness, then goodness will develop within you. If you are taking the input in the mode of passion, then the mode of passion will develop. If you are taking input in the mode of ignorance, then the mode of ignorance will develop. If you are eating sattvic ahar, sattvic food, then your what is sattvic food? It's explained in 18th chapter.
Yeah.
You can develop sattva guna. If you are eating very chilly, pungent, salty food, then immediately your mind gets triggered to passion. If you eat very spicy food, then mind immediately starts disturbance. And tamasic food, definitely, if somebody is a drunkard, we know how they behave. So it is all about input, garbage in, garbage out, or whatever good in, good out. Whatever you take in, that will come. It's not only the food, whatever you hear, what you see, whatever we smell, everything is in that. So you should maintain a proper lifestyle which will develop goodness in ourselves. And identifying is based on our activities. Hope
And
this-
one more.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhu. I easily get influenced when people are around me. When I stay with my friends, I be with my friends. So it's difficult to follow the things which are prescribed in Shastras and said by Gurus. I often forget those things, and later, every time I feel guilt for not following those things, not remembering those things. So how to come out of this?
Yeah,
Prabhu?
you need a association.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it is because Sangat Sanjayate Kama. Sangha is needed. Through that, we'll develop the habits. So you should maintain a good association of devotees. Or if you have a person who is Rajasic in nature or Tamasic in nature, then you should reduce association with them and increase your association with the people who are devotees. Then automatically these qualities will develop. This we can see even in children also. Children learn so many things from their friends.
Yep.
Yeah. Similarly, you should maintain a devotee circle around you whenever possible. At least weekends you can associate with some devotees so that you will also absorb their qualities.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Suma,
Krishna, Mataji.
yes. Hare-
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Sorry. Dandavat pranams, Prabhuji.
Hare-
Prabhuji, I just wanted to ask Prabhuji, like we are not having any BV right now, Prabhuji. Like we are not studying. Actually, we are only 3 in a group. So all of the other members have gone to the other Bhakti Shastri, Aishwarya Mataji's class. So only we